Hi everyone, in this short video I'm going to show how Nuix Adaptive Security can be used to detect and alert on some very important problems that are facing large enterprises today. So in the demo we'll look at three types of scenarios and situations that people are concerned with. The first is data removal or data theft. We'll look at data theft by removable media device, using a web service like a file sharing site or a web email client or service such as Gmail, and then also the use of the emerging private messaging applications like Signal, Telegram, and WhatsApp that we are seeing users get onto their work computers and use to steal data. We'll sort of focus on the flexibility of Nuix Adaptive Security for detecting all kinds of ways that people can move data off of their work computer. Then we'll look at harassment, and specifically what we're going to show is the power of keyword detection and keystroke detection to detect things like bullying of managers to subordinates or of one employee to another, the use of racial terms or racial discrimination or evidence of racial discrimination, and the same thing for sexual misconduct, detectable through keyword alerting, keystroke alerting. And then finally, we'll look at compliance and how Nuix Adaptive could be used to detect personally identifiable information, or PII, showing up in a place that it shouldn't be or is not expected to. So I'm going to start with the data exfiltration scenario, and what I'd like to focus on or show here is sort of the three different ways that people can easily remove sensitive data from their work computer in order to sell it or to use it with a new employer, or to otherwise sort of to disclose it publicly to embarrass their employer. So a couple of ways that they can do that, of course, is the traditional one here by USB. So I'll just copy my sensitive data up to my USB device here. Another one would be by a webmail client. I'm using Google Drive here, but you could certainly use Gmail or think of Gmail in the same way. The Nuix Adaptive would detect and upload to Gmail in the same way. And then finally, we have a private messaging app, and the private messaging apps, increasingly users are managing to get these onto their machines, sometimes authorized, sometimes not, and they can be used to send out information and certainly to collaborate with conspirators to take information that they shouldn't be taking. So one of the things that's useful about Nuix Adaptive is its ability to capture screenshots before and after a precipitating event. So in this case, the alerting event is the actual upload of the graphene file, but I want to make sure that I am seeing any kind of communication between this user and their co-conspirator that occurred prior to that upload. So we'll capture screenshots before the event which actually triggers the screenshotting, which is the upload. So I'm just going to delete these other files here, and then we'll look at what the product actually detects. Now the adaptive console will present alerts to us in the order that they occur. So you can see the first alert here tells me that watch listed data was collected or copied to removable media. And not only did the product alert me to that, but it also performed a collection of that file. So we can look a little bit more closely at that and say, well, why did we collect that? And the reason that it was collected was because it met certain criteria that are used to identify sensitive data. So we have regular expressions that are actually deployed that the endpoint agent is using to scan files that meet criteria, such as being copied to removable media. And this one contained indicators of confidentiality and proprietary statement here, contained sensitive keywords related to technology that is that's sensitive to the organization. And so this was, since it met those criteria, the file was actually collected, and we could actually download that. It's sitting here at the adaptive server. It was sent back immediately. We could download that and examine the details if we wanted to. So the next alert we have is on the upload to Google Drive, or we could think of this as an upload to Gmail. And in that case, we did take screenshots of that. And so you can see the screenshots right here, where it indicates that Graphene Review was uploaded to Google Drive. And again, we also performed a collection in response to that. So we can go back and take a closer look at this and look for the content inspection, see which regular expressions within the file matched. And we could download this or examine this as well if we wanted to take a closer look and see if the information inside it was actually something that concerned us. The final scenario is the upload with WhatsApp. And as I mentioned, we captured screenshots before and after that event. So when I go into the screenshot list here, we'll see a total of 480 screenshots captured. That's for 1 minute prior to and 1 minute after the event, captured at a rate of 4 screenshots per second. So if we play this back, what we'll see is, again, the minute of activity leading up to the WhatsApp upload, which is launching the application, then actually doing some other file system activity here, the other demo things. And then finally, there goes the upload, and then going back in, the user goes back in and attempts to cover his tracks. So what you hopefully saw from this is the power of screenshotting in being able to triage data exfiltration. The other thing that's I think is very interesting about Nuix Adaptive when it comes to data exfiltration is the flexibility. So whether the problem is removable media or a web service or a messaging application like WhatsApp, the very flexible logic engine filter language provides a way for us to create detections, create rules, customize these rules according to the policy and of the organization and the culture of the organization, as well as to adapt to changes over time. Because as we all know, WhatsApp is interesting today, Signal and Telegram are interesting today, but who knows what tomorrow brings. And that's why the engine filter language is such a powerful ally to people who are trying to deal with data exfiltration, detect data exfiltration. So I'm going to pause this and then switch to the next demo scenarios. In the next part of the video, I'd like to look at that second category of scenario of interest, which is harassment. And really what we're going to use adaptive security for in this case, we'll use keystroke monitoring and keyword detection to really detect any kind of thing that the person is typing into their work computer that corresponds to a high-risk behavior or a behavior that concerns us. So some examples of that would be things like bullying a subordinate or expressing terms that are indicative of racial or sexual discrimination or misconduct of some sort. So one of the things that we need to do if we're trying to alert on typed keywords is to exclude things that resemble the terms we're interested in but are not those terms exactly. So let me give you an example here. From bullying, I might be concerned to know if a boss communicates his intent directly to fire a subordinate. So the phrase fire you is important to me to alert on. But same person might say something like, did that video we just saw fire you up? And I don't want to create an alert on this. I only want an alert if the person says something like, if you do that one more time, I am going to fire you. So what we want to see is no alert in this first scenario and one alert in the second scenario. So let's check and see if that's what happened. Okay, so there we go. One alert, medium risk workplace violence, keystrokes detected, screenshotting 20 seconds. So if I take a look at my screenshots, that will show the screenshot getting kicked off. If you do that one more time, I'm going to fire you. Now we can see the previous thing that I typed, did that video we just saw fire you up, on the screen, but that did not create the alert. It was the use of the term fire you that created the alert. So this is probably not a perfect example, but hopefully it does show exactly, or one of the tools that you have in Adaptive to eliminate false positives, to focus on the things that are considered high risk, that are considered of interest. So the same principle holds for specific words. So we might want to know, for example, if someone types the word psycho to convey some kind of concern or anxiety about a coworker. I've seen this in some environments. So I want to alert when the term psycho appears, but not when psychology has appeared. So if someone says, my daughter is planning to study psychology, I don't want an alert on that. If they say, I am pretty sure Joe is a total psycho, we do want an alert on the use of the term psycho. So let's check and see if we got one additional alert. And there we go. Again, the screenshots will tell us that the alert was created as soon as we hit the psycho word, but not on psychology. And we're able to do that because of the power of the engine filter language in adaptive security, which enables us to alert on specific words and keywords and phrases that concern us, and to not create alerts and not create screenshots on things that are innocuous. In the final part of the video, I'd like to show how Nuix Adaptive Security can detect compliance issues such as PII, or personally identifiable information, appearing in places that it's not supposed to be. So to simulate this, my user will be working on some proprietary information or a file containing proprietary information. In this case, we have an Excel spreadsheet that contains a large number of account numbers and social security numbers and credit card numbers and such. And the person is going to drop that file onto a network share, not knowing that they're not supposed to do that, or perhaps forgetting they weren't supposed to do it. And Nuix Adaptive will scan that file, will detect that this has occurred, scan the file, and if it contains information that we're looking for, such as account numbers or credit card numbers or social security numbers or other PII, it will create an alert and collect the relevant document. So that will sometimes take a little bit of time just to get it back to the server. It was actually very quick there. But we can see that the alert is telling me that PII was detected in a file on a network share, and so we've collected the file. And to look more deeply at that, we can just select View Alert and examine the content matches here. So we can see that our regex pattern for social security numbers matched on a large number of items or numbers in this file. We can see here the number that matched, as well as the text, 25 characters of text to the left of the match and 25 characters to the right of the match. And we see that 3 different regexes, regular expressions, actually matched here. These are both targeted at credit card numbers, and we have another one for social security numbers. So if we want to then review the document, we can again download that. It's been collected back to the adaptive server. It's also available to us in a longer list over here under collected files, where we can look at the last few things that have been collected and download those and examine them if we want to. All right, so we covered several different capabilities of adaptive. Again, we looked at data exfiltration and how we can sort of flexibly apply the engine filter logic as threats change and as user behaviors change and the infrastructure changes. We looked at different ways to do keyword detection and through keystroke monitoring, and finally looked at a compliance use case. So I hope you found this useful. Thanks very much.